All right, you there?
Yeah. Can you
All
hear
right,
me?
we should. Yep.
Okay. Yep, there it is. I see it.
Text. All right, let me know when you're ready.
I'm ready.
All right, so good morning, everyone. I guess what our other co-hosts would say, good morning, like a shark. We're back like a shark attack. Back like we ain't got clothes on our back. I forgot everything else, but nevertheless, good morning. Welcome to today's edition of Early Morning Sports Talk podcast. As we, break down things that happened in this past week. As we know, the forefront is the NBA Finals. We will definitely be headlining with that. Things that happen in the NFL, maybe some other news in the NBA, maybe some MLB, who knows? But nevertheless, here with my brother from another mother. He goes by Peoples Hernandez. He goes by Rod Tidwell. For all I know, he can go by Willie Beeman as well. But nevertheless, it's Mr. Ian Jones today. How you doing, bro?
I'm doing good. I'm doing good, bro. How you been?
Hey, I'm hanging in there. All right, so and man, look, I know a few weeks ago, I definitely said the Miami Heat was either a championship team or a first round exit in the same game. They can be that in the playoffs. I mean, they kind of lived up to that championship expectation, but I feel like now they kind of ran out of gas here. That's what it seems like.
Yeah.
Um, them playing they come into Miami, game three, they split. They did what they were supposed to do.
Right.
But man, to lose two at home to
That
the
hurt.
Nuggets, it does hurt, man. Games 3 and 4, like what were your thoughts on that? How long you think this series is gonna last, man? Like just let us know what you're thinking, bro.
Game three, we simply just seen Nikola Jokic and Jamal Murray just dominate. For both of them to have triple doubles in the same game, I think that was the first time it happened in NBA Finals history. That's crazy. I mean, you think about all the greats that have played in the NBA Finals year after year, and I mean that's insane. I mean, it just shows you to a testament that they've been the best team in the NBA all year. They showing it every night. Then game four last night, man, Bruce Brown and Aaron Gordon just crazy, man. I mean, Bruce Brown, man, he looked like top 5 point guard in the league late last night. It was crazy. I was like, wow, bro. But a testament to their team. They've been playing like that every series from round 1 to round 2 to the Western Conference Finals. They've been playing. These same guys have been playing like this the whole playoff. So now you look at it, they got one game to go, and they will have their first ever NBA championship, and they got a chance to do it on their home floor. I think they're gonna get it done. I think it's
over.
Yeah, I think it's 4-1. I thought Miami would, I think I said Denver in 6, but I don't know, they might get them out of here quicker. And I mean, Miami's going to play hard, but I think in this series, Denver's just a better team, just from starting 5 to the benches. Benches deep. They got, the bench is deep, talented. They have veteran experience. Guys like Jeff Green, Aaron Gordon, he's not even that young no more, Bruce Brown, Caldwell Pope, man, like I was saying to myself last night, looked like Caldwell Pope about to get his second ring. And Jeff Green probably gonna get his first one, because they ain't looking too good for Miami right now. And I don't see them coming back from 3-1. No, I don't see that
happening. not with this group.
Nah.
Man. No, you're right. Bruce Brown last night, my gosh, in the fourth quarter, he told Jokic and Jamal, like, look, I got this. Bruh. Dude, it's wild, because I'm gonna go back to game 3 for a second, because like you said, the triple doubles, first time that's ever happened like that, 30-point triple doubles.
Yeah.
And it's teammates, same game. And it was just a 2-man show in game 3. Them two beat the Heat by themselves, because Bruce Brown and Gordon and Michael Porter Jr., Caldwell Pope, none of them was nowhere to be found.
Nowhere.
Christian Brown was the one off the bench with 15 in that game.
Right.
But it was mainly the 2-man show that did everything. And so, I expected the Heat would come out with some urgency last night. And initially they did. They were in the game. Mm-hmm. I felt like, they didn't lose control of the pace of the game initially, but it was like second half. I'm like, you just saw it. They just started running out of steam. Shots wasn't falling. Bam missing easy pick and pop shots, and Denver just starting to get a lead, and every time that Miami would start to come back, something would happen. Caldwell Pope will have like a hot minute and a half to 2 minutes on offense and defense, stripping Jimmy Butler, hitting timely threes. And I'm like, man. But when you have Aaron Gordon with 27 points last night, 27.
Yeah.
3 or 4 behind the arc. Like, my gosh. And Michael Porter Jr., who's been anemic this whole series, he hasn't really played well, but he gives you 11. Caldwell Pope only gives you 7, but I feel like his buckets was timely. That's just the key of it. He made timely buckets, and then of course, and then like we mentioned, Bruce Brown, he reached in his bag, I've been saving this for the NBA Finals. Let me get Duncan Robinson on me real quick. Let me size him up. Let me drain him real quick.
Man. It was the layup. It was the layup for me before the 3. I was like, ooh. I was like, that's how you coming? I'm like, you're right. Wow. I'm like, wow.
And I'm sitting here looking at Bruce Brown like, bro, you was just on Brooklyn with KD and Kyrie, and y'all couldn't get it done, but this team here is about to get it done.
You feel me? I was like, wow. But I mean, I guess that's just a testament to, being on a different team and just being with the right fit and right system and chemistry.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I want to say I saw a clip probably back in the Lakers series when they was up 3-0 in the locker room of Denver, and you can see everybody just the camaraderie and everybody love for one another and hyping up the next man because they did something well. It's there. There's
Yep.
no egos at all. And it starts with their superstar, Jokic. It's like, that man, I feel like it's one of the he reminds me of Tim Duncan as far as the ego part.
Yeah.
Like there is none. He just
Yep.
goes out there, plays. He doesn't really talk. He just do his thing.
Go home.
Yeah. And so to have that at the forefront, and then of course, the wonderful story of Jamal Murray, we discussed it before, just having him doing his thing.
Yep.
So him back in the form and everything else just flowing, just with all this cohesion and stuff. It's, man, like you said, they one game away from winning their first title. They've been to the Western Conference Finals 3 times in their franchise history, to my understanding. First time was in the '80s with Alex English running against the Lakers, and that was a wrap. A couple years ago in the bubble, when the Lakers got them that time, and they returned the favor this year. So first
Yeah.
trip, and it's
Then they played. I know for a fact they played Kobe.
oh, you're right. They played
Melo.
Kobe, and that was a
Which is
great
crazy.
series.
All 3 times they played the Lakers. They played them again this year.
Man, they got 4 different versions of the Lakers, the whole franchise history.
That's crazy, yo. I just thought, since you brought it up, I just thought about that. I'm like, yeah, they
Right.
played Melo in the West Conference Finals too.
So,
Wow.
man, they ran into Magic, they ran into Kareem, they ran into Worthy, they ran into Kobe, they ran into LeBron. Like, dog.
Everybody. Only person they probably did run into is Shaq.
Yeah. And that's probably good for their well-being at that point, because they ran into a early 2000 Shaq. I don't know what to tell you.
No.
Somebody probably would have died.
No answer.
At all, bro. But so I had this series going further than 5. I had it going 7. Not saying it's more than likely it's ending in Denver in Game 5. I give the Heat 2% chance for winning Game 5.
Right.
It's just more so the respect for what they have done this postseason. What Jimmy has just can't come out the bag with just last minute heroics to push the game. But more than likely, we know, and probably America knows, that it's probably a wrap in Denver. The fans about to be hyped.
I mean, they have a chance to win, and you know what? I wouldn't be surprised if Miami won in Game 5. But as far as the series goes, I mean, it's a wrap. But as they were walking off, I seen a clip as they was walking off the court last night, like Jamal Murray after they interviewed him. They just look focused. So like you said, I believe it's gonna be over in 5. Denver looks focused, and I think Miami losing last night, I think that took a lot out of them last night. I think that kind of hurt them last night mentally.
Yeah, I did. It seemed like it's crazy, because if we look back at it, if we actually just put the Heat under the microscope from round to round, we kind of saw them running out of gas probably in the middle of the Celtics series.
Yep.
But it's like a car. When you go downhill, you get the most fuel economy. Take the your foot off the gas, and you just cruising. You're not burning any gas, and then when you get back to level land, or I got to go uphill, you start hitting the gas pedal. Like, I'm not going anywhere. I'm stalling a little bit here. So that's what it feels like. So in order for the Heat to really have a chance here, for them to pull off Game 5, aggression got to be there from the forefront. Jimmy has to be aggressive. He has to set the tone from tip off. Shooters got to shoot. They got to hit shots. That's just what it is. Their defense, they just have to slow them down. You're not gonna stop them, because I'm sitting here watching the game, and all these dribble penetrations, and then somebody would do a cut from the 3-point line towards the middle of the paint, wide open layups left and right. I'm like, dude, they are killing you all with this. It's easy. So I don't know. When Miami won Game 2, they had switched to the zone, and it's more so I think Denver actually ended up scoring more of the points per possession with the zone, but it slowed down the pace.
Pace, yeah.
And I think that was vital. It was not saying they need to run zone all the time, but they just probably need to give them different looks, hit shots, and be aggressive the whole time. That's it. That's the only thing. That's the only way I see them having a chance to win the game. Otherwise,
Yeah,
probably gonna be a 20-point blowout.
yeah. I was telling my dad last night we were watching the game. I was like, well, I said this is typically the Denver team we've seen pretty much all playoffs. I said, let's just say if just say, ironically, if the Lakers went to the finals and they played Miami, I said Miami probably wouldn't beat the Lakers either. But I say, Denver is they're just a better team just from 1 to 15. From that, like I said, from the starting five to that bench, really the bench has been they've just been outstanding this whole playoffs in every series. They have been the difference. I mean, of course, Jokic, he gonna get his, but Aaron Gordon, Bruce Brown, the others, Caldwell Pope, they even had the other kid. I think he's number 0. He had a good game. I think it was a game 3. I think it was game 3. I think it was like number 0. He's a guard.
Rookie?
I forget his last name.
It's not Christian Brown, right?
Is it Christian Brown? It might
Because
be.
that's the one. Yeah. I think he had 15 off the bench that game.
Yeah,
7 or 8 from the field.
Yeah, I was like, where'd this kid come from, man? Like, where'd this kid come from? I don't even really think he played all playoffs. I'm like, man, this is crazy. I'm like, you can't beat him, like, especially like a game like last night. You're not gonna be able to beat him like that. No.
You're not. And
Especially with Miami. I know they hurt. Tyler Hero's not there, and they typically rely. If they're not shooting well, then typically he probably can beat Miami. Now, if they're shooting well, like they did in Game 2, then you in for a dogfight. But if they shooters not really shooting well, I mean they're going to play hard. That's just a testament to the Miami Heat culture, and then that's been there for years now. But if they're not shooting well, then it more likely it's going to be a tough night for them.
I mean, the 3-point shooting has been the biggest difference for the Heat. Like in the regular season, they was one of the worst, if not the worst, 3-point shooting team in the league. Then all of a sudden they get to the playoffs, they red hot.
Yeah.
And that's how you got them beating the Bucks so quick. That's how you basically stumped the Knicks out real quick. Yep. And that's how you ended up 3-0 against Boston real quick before Boston hit a switch like, wait a minute, we Boston. We're better than this team. So
exactly.
But man, just to the comments real quick, Jamon Allen said Bron, he's a champion. And I was going to allude to that. I mean, he was part of that Kansas team that won. So you bring in that winning mentality. So he comes in already knowing what he should do mentally to, be a contributor when he needs to. As you saw in Game 3, like just the cuts, the aggression, that one play where he took it, I want to say almost coast to coast, but he really took it to Jimmy in the paint and scored over him. I'm like, okay, this dude's not scared of the moment at all. Like he coming to play. Confidence. Like that team is confident.
Yeah.
Like just like in the Lakers series or in the Suns series, the Lakers and the Suns, they can go up, they can be up double digits, but for a stretch for 75 to 90 seconds at a time, the Nuggets can come down 3. Matter of fact, it happened in Game 2, even though they lost that game. All of a sudden, the Nuggets went on a 12-0 run because they hit 4 straight threes against Miami. And I'm sitting here like, man, is this game over already? But eventually Miami came back and won. But it's they just have spurts to where it kind of reminds you of the Warriors, how the Warriors of old could just get hot for a second. They could be down 15, but it feels like they're only down 5.
5, because they can change that in a matter of 2 minutes. Yeah, that's
Man,
you know what, and that's why I mentioned that last week. You know, I mean, like they're gonna win a championship now, but if they pull off the championship, could they make a run like the Warriors with this if they keep this, especially this core, especially the other guys, the Caldwell, KCP, Michael Porter Jr., Bruce Brown, Christian Brown, Aaron Gordon. They keep these guys. Could they make a run like the Warriors? I know eventually one or two of them will probably leave just for more money for sure.
right, as they should.
Yeah,
Man, so that it's a lot of factors into that, right? So
yeah,
for one, continuity. I mean, Mike Malone has been there the entire careers of Jokic and Murray. So they've been
yeah,
there for at least 8 years, 7 years for Murray. So
yeah.
you got that. Michael Porter Jr. has been there the whole time. I'm pretty sure he'll end up getting paid and staying there. The core should be there. So you have the continuity between the coach and the players and the core. So you got that going for you. However, this is almost like a perfect segue to other stuff that we gonna talk about.
Right.
It's the other factors in the Western Conference. And you have let's say the team they played in the Western Conference Finals themselves, the Lakers. Who knows what they're gonna be doing this off season? That's always gonna be a team that's always gonna be highlighted this summer. A team to keep your eye on with the point guard situation. We'll see because it seems like D'Angelo Russell went from getting the bag to getting escorted out the crypto arena.
Yeah, like you
So
played stuff out the crypto.
he said, "We gonna transfer your money in Bitcoin. Goodbye." Um, so you got that. You have the Phoenix Suns, who
They up to something.
they are, and we can discuss it now. Like, so as we heard, Chris Paul name's been out there. It was one report saying he'd been released, but then basically saying they had a meeting, and part of the meeting was to discuss him being released. But nevertheless, it seemed like Chris Paul is probably going to be on the move here.
Yeah,
Um, I
real
think
something.
DeAndre Ayton is still missing
I
from
think
from Denver. I haven't seen him since Jokic was on the court against him. I still haven't found him. I don't know where he's at.
I think he on the move too.
Probably
Yeah,
because as we,
he on the move too.
because as we remember, like he didn't sign a contract with with the Suns that summer. He signed it with the Pacers. They just accepted the offer because he was restricted.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's it. It wasn't the Suns that offered him that contract. So yeah, I think those two are probably on the move. You have to keep Kevin Durant. You just gave up your whole farm system for him, and
Right.
Devin Booker's elite. You're not gonna get rid of him. So Phoenix Suns, who knows what they're gonna look like here pretty soon. Um, you have Dallas, who I know that didn't make the playoffs, but I mean, I feel like they probably gonna make some dramatic moves here because you basically got 1 year left to impress Luka here. Otherwise, things can get a little interesting there.
Yeah, for sure.
And then of course, you got the other teams, which I can't even. My brain went dead for a second, but
Well, it's been rumblings about Dame. You got is Harden gonna come back to the West?
yep.
Um, who else we got in the West? I
And
mean, well,
then
you got
then
you got
Westbrook. You never know with
yeah.
the Clippers.
It's really
Uh,
just to me with the Clippers. It's really just health. Like I feel like the team is always there. They always have a solid bench. The starting five. It just always come down to Kawhi getting hurt, or Paul George getting hurt, or all three of them get hurt, or whoever. Hell, Tyronn Lue probably gonna get hurt. I don't know. I at this point, I didn't lost faith in the Clippers. I just feel like they just gonna clip themselves away every time.
bruh. I feel bad for him. I feel like that franchise is snake bitten.
Yeah,
It feels like they're cursed. Like,
to
cause
even go
I
all the way back to the bubble, it was like, okay, we're gonna finally see the Lakers and the Clippers in the West Conference Final. and they getting beat by a team that we really should have been paying attention to the whole time. That's been knocking on the door, and they one game away from winning the NBA Finals, which is crazy. So now, people, people, oh, the bubble wasn't real, or the bubble was fake. Well, technically, we can't say that because those 4 teams that was in the Eastern, those 14 that was in the conference finals was in the conference finals. What, 3 years later?
I mean, you got a point. Now,
the less likely one looks like they about to just run away with the championship.
Man, that's crazy. That's crazy. But yeah, you mentioned Dame. I mean, Dame. I feel like Damian Lillard's name has been floating around for like the last 3 off seasons. He'll never come out and say it. He won't.
No.
And for a certain standpoint, I respect it. He just want to go out there and hoop. He don't want to be known as a ring chaser, this, and that. I get that. But, as the fans, we just want to see Damian and Lillard more so just in a winning situation. Now, if the Portland was able to become that team, then you wouldn't really hearing these rumblings of, him probably end up in other places like Phoenix or Miami or Brooklyn or whomever, the Lakers. It's like, because we know Boston, we know that certain teams are Damian Lillard away from actually winning a title because we know what Damian Lillard brings to the table.
For sure.
And it's like, so like, let me ask you this. Damian Lillard, would he, just trade scenarios here? Not saying that the teams would do it, but would you rather have Dame traded for Chris Paul per se and whatever else needs to be done to make that trade to go to Phoenix? Would you rather have Damian Lillard traded to Boston for Jaylen Brown and maybe Marcus Smart? Like, would you rather have, Dame traded to Miami for Kyle Lowry and whoever else that needs to be there? Just insert Dame Lillard into one of those situations. Just what are you thinking with that?
To be honest, out of all the scenarios, if Miami was able to keep Bam and keep Jimmy, and to be honest, to keep Tyler Hero, I would like to see it. I think that would be a perfect fit. But I don't know I think Portland will want Tyler Hero. Which, I mean, if they take Tyler Hero, that would be cool because we get Damian Lillard. But I think him, Bam, and Jimmy, and that Heat culture, and you try to keep those shooters around. And I mean, they're gonna need a big man for sure. They need a big man, but somebody bigger than Bam. But I think that will shake that East up. I think that would be nasty. I wouldn't see him working with Phoenix. It will almost probably be like, Kyrie, Harden, and KD again. I mean, it will work. They're going to score, but they're going. If they all 3 of those guys play together, they'll have those games where they all score like 25. All of them score almost 30, but nobody plays no defense, so they only probably win by 5 points. And they scored 150 points. And so I don't think it would make a difference in like them having another championship or something to that magnitude. But I think the perfect scenario will probably be him going to Miami, maybe Boston. But to be honest, I would let that Boston team kind of figure it out again.
Saying for that team to run it back?
Yeah, maybe a couple changes. I mean, it would be nice if they got Dame, but if they got Dame, I would want them to keep Jaylen Brown. But then, I mean, would you really need Jaylen Brown there?
I think maybe not. I feel like it comes down to money because if you're the Boston Celtics, I don't know they're gonna be willing to though.
Yeah.
because both of them up for a super max, so they made All NBA. And if you pay both of them the max, you basically gonna spend like $600 million on two players that hasn't won anything.
Yep.
Like, are you willing to do that?
And Dame coming in with a crazy contract, probably just as much as uh, Jason Tatum. So I mean, financially, that ain't gonna work.
Uh, so it's like, yeah, that'll be tough. But Dame in Miami, like he embodies heat culture. I feel like that would like
Yeah.
he'll a seamless fit right in if they can make it work without giving up too much. Got to keep Bam and you got to keep Jimmy
Yeah.
if he was to do that. So, you mentioned James Harden. James Harden is a name to be floating around. Now, last week, I asked Brandon this, and I'm going to ask you this. So, Nick Nurse is the head coach in Philly. I think he says he, of course, trying to get James Harden to stay, but there's also, I heard a floating report that if James Harden was to leave, replace him with Fred VanVleet. Would you rather have Fred VanVleet on Philly, or would you rather have James Harden?
I wouldn't be mad at Van Fleet. I would not be mad at that simply because he's played with Nick Nurse and got a championship together. So typically everything is going. I mean, even with James Harden, typically everything is going to run through it. The offense is going to run through Embiid. He will probably, to be honest, he will probably be better suited than James Harden. I feel like Van Fleet, he will defer even more to Embiid, but still be able, to get his, in those games where Embiid's not, shooting well. And
Right.
that's when you get other guys to kind of tag along. So that wouldn't be a bad look at all.
I agree. Because it's like I know what I'm getting from VanVleet, like every night. I know what I'm getting. I feel like he'd be a better fit for the team per se, like you was
Yeah.
mentioning. Defer to Embiid when he needs to, get his shots when he needs to, maybe be able to get the other teammates involved, more ingrained into the game on a consistent basis. I feel like just more so the consistency of that, because we know Harden has a higher ceiling by far.
Yeah.
But as we saw in that series against Boston, it's like Harden have 40-point game, disappear for 2 games, have another 40-point game, and then in the biggest game, nowhere to be found. So it's like, at least I feel like with VanVleet, maybe he won't give you 40 for a couple of games, but he'll give you 20, 25. He'll give you, you know, 5 to 8 assists a game, hit timely shots, make the right plays,
Yeah.
control the game, be the floor general to a certain degree, stuff like that, intangibles, make winning basketball plays.
Yeah. I just think, like you were stating, I just think he'll be a better overall leader on that team. So I think that would play a big part in that. If that was to happen, that would be a good look.
Definitely. So yeah. I know the original question is all the way back to Denver. Could they go on a run here? Could they be the next Warriors dynasty? But I don't. I mean, time will tell. It's not like they have. I don't think they're not a juggernaut of a team, but they are a well-oiled machine. We could probably maybe view them as a Spurs team that we used to see for like 2 decades in a row, right? They could be maybe that, to where they're relevant. Maybe they get back to the finals, maybe not next year, but the year after, maybe. Who knows? But it's still a lot of question marks. We didn't even mention the Warriors and what they may be up to, because I don't think they're officially done yet.
Nah.
Even though Bob Myers stepped down, and I feel like that is a big blow. But I mean, we'll know what direction that team is going into this summer. We'll know for sure what their future will look like. Sacramento, that team was up and coming, put the Warriors on the brink. Memphis, but
They
Adam
got
Silver about to lay the hammer on somebody real quick, so I don't know what to
they
expect
got
with
other stuff to worry about right now.
that. Oh man, the Pelicans, I don't know, but they got a 30 for 30 coming out with guns and buns here, featuring John Moran and Zion. So
that took me out.
and they both from South Carolina too. That's wild.
Crazy.
And I think they play AAU together too, if I'm not mistaken, at one point in time. So
yeah, they did.
Jeez. So yeah. Who knows, man? But I would say this all season gonna be one of the more exciting ones in recent memory, I would imagine, in the NBA. So yeah. Anything else on this series? I guess NBA related here.
No, it looks like we'll have a new champion maybe Monday night.
Jeez, man. Probably they're gonna have the champagne ready, the trophy probably already polished and stuff.
Oh, I do got one question. One question before we get out to the final. Who will win MVP? Who will win Finals MVP if Denver wins Monday night? Who wins MVP?
Dude, unless Jamal Murray drops like 60 points in the closeout game, it's gonna be Jokic. It has to be Jokic.
You think so?
Yeah. Because I mean, yeah, him and Murray had 30-point triple doubles, but the man had 30, 20, 10. This man has averaged a triple double in the whole playoffs. This man, I mean, yeah, he's been like another thing. I guess didn't mention the man was in foul trouble yesterday.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
And Denver still routed him. Like that's crazy. But I think it's definitely Jokic by default for me.
Yeah, it's tough because I mean he is almost averaging a triple double, and but you got Joe. I think Jamal Murray he's had 10 assists in his first four final games. I was like, that's crazy.
Yes, because I never really thought of the man to drop double-digit assists, really.
Right. And I was like, well, they said that last night. I was like, wow. I was like, man, I mean, they finish it off Monday. Either one could win MVP. I don't know if they're not gonna give them. They both not gonna get it like a co-MVP type thing, but either or. But it'll probably, like you said, it'll probably be Jokic though.
I kind of look at it like I'm definitely not comparing the two, but the situation of it more so like the Lakers three-peat with Shaq and Kobe. Like Kobe had phenomenal numbers, but it was definitely Shaq.
Shaq, yeah.
The impact, everything he did, like that man. Well, nobody's stopping him, and ain't nobody stopping Jokic. Like the man rolled his ankle, still out here doing this thing last night. So I think it's more Jokic than Murray. But Murray, I mean, if Murray wasn't playing the way he was, this series would be different.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah. So yeah, Game 5, man, Mile High. The city of Denver, I guess, hasn't really celebrated anything since the Broncos.
The Broncos, that was a long time ago.
They did. Didn't they get it? Did they get it? Yeah, with Noodle Arm Manning. They did get one with Noodle Arm Manning.
Oh, yeah, they did. Yeah, that was what, 20?
That was against your boy Cam.
Yeah, that was 2015. Yep.
So, yeah, outside of that, yeah, they haven't really celebrated anything since the Elway days. So,
yeah.
All right, so I guess speaking of football, football is always in the news because it's the billion-dollar industry. It's the number one, money-making sport in America. And it's a news that pertains, I guess, indirectly pertains to our Chicago Bears. Good old Dalvin Cook has finally been released. Something that has been rumored for months, and it's finally happened here. Like, what are your thoughts, and where do you think he's going?
Well, as we both know, Dalvin Cook has been trying to get out of there since their season ended. I think immediately when the season was over, I believe he scrapped his whole Instagram with all the Vikings pictures. He scrapped it; it was gone. So an athlete does that these days. He's not really happy with the with the franchise, the coach, whoever it is. He ain't happy. So yeah, he's been trying to get out of there all off season. I wasn't surprised when I got the notification the other day. We discussed it before. It's Miami. He's trying to get to Miami. That's been his goal for, I think, this whole offseason. So I don't see him going anywhere else. I think it's going to be Miami.
No, that definitely seems like the forefront. I think the only other team that may try to, take that away would be Buffalo.
Yeah, to play with his brother, that would be dope.
That would be cold-blooded. And yeah, like you mentioned, Dalvin definitely been trying to get out. And like you said, whenever, these players do this passive-aggressive, deleting pictures off of Instagram or taking the team name off your bio and all this stuff, and the indirect messages, cryptic tweets, all this indirect, passive-aggressive BS. Yeah, I guess that's them protesting without really protesting. So, but yeah, Dalvin Cook, I'm definitely be glad that he's out the division. He definitely was a true dude threat, a fantasy threat too for my fantasy football people out there when he was healthy.
I've had him before.
Yeah, no, that dude is sensational, and I'm pretty sure, if I'm not mistaken, our bro, Mr. Deshaun Reed, at one point in time called him the best running back in the league. And he probably was at one point in time for a small snippet. Who knows? Because he was that dynamic when he first got in the league. But yeah, nevertheless, adios, sayonara, you and Aaron Rodgers, deuces, goodbye. It's a new reign over here. Anyway, I know I mentioned Buffalo. You mentioned his brothers there. That's crazy. And speaking of Buffalo, real quick, dude, Josh Allen on the cover of Madden, like that cover is dope. The deluxe edition with him in the crowd.
That's probably the best Madden cover I've probably seen. I can't even remember, I can remember the covers for sure, but a cover like that, I can't remember one. That's probably the best one I've seen.
No, I agree. I agree, because of course, you see a lot of fan-made covers that's probably better than the covers that are actually released. But as far as an official one, yeah. So that one was dope. I remember the Troy Polamalu and Larry Fitzgerald cover. That was pretty dope.
2010, pretty dope.
The Megatron one was all right.
Even the Michael Vick one back in the day, that one was.
The 04 one, yeah.
Yeah, that one was nice.
That game was revolutionary within the franchise. I remember that.
Yeah.
Ray Lewis cover wasn't bad either.
No, it wasn't. In 05, yeah.
Man,
they didn't have some covers, but this one is definitely up there. This one it has to be top 3, top 5 easy. I don't even think it's a question.
Absolutely. I haven't bought a physical disc of a game in so long, but I might just do it just for the cover.
Buy the physical, yeah.
Bruh. No, it basically embodies the whole Mafia. It embodies what Bill's Mafia is. The football fandom. It just does. So yeah. So that means, the quote unquote Madden curse, blah, 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 blah. And I kind of talked about this on my podcast for a bit, on the J Go Sports podcast. But my thing is, entering last year, there were people that thought Josh Allen was the best quarterback in the league entering last year.
Mm-hmm.
Because what we saw was him, beat Kansas City in that playoff game with 13 seconds left. People saw that, and then Travis
Yeah,
Kelce happened,
and Pat Mahomes happened.
yeah, exactly. So it's like, and when last season happened, of course, people pumped the brakes on that because Josh Allen, as great as he is, I feel like his biggest fault is turnovers, timely turnovers, especially in
Yeah.
the red zone. So with Josh Allen on this cover here, and basically they do have a lot of pressure on them because they last year should have been the year for them. Now the DeMar Hamlin situation probably, altered that and pretty much altered the landscape of the AFC playoffs with how they, did it. But glad he's healthy. But Josh Allen, like what I feel like there's pressure on him. What are your expectations for him? What does he have to do this upcoming season?
Just win those big games. We know he has the arm talent. He can run. He can do it all. It's just got to get over the hump. Just win those big games. Nothing more, nothing less. Just win those big games.
So basically, Super Bowl or bust at this point. Like getting there, does he have to get there?
Yeah, I think so. Like you said, he was 13 seconds away from beating Mahomes in Kansas City. That was an incredible game. I still remember it to this day. But defense happened, and Travis Kelce happened, and as Shannon Sharp would call him, Pat Mahomes boy happened. So yeah, they just got to win those big games. And then it seemed like last year they were focused. Like in the beginning of the season, it just seemed like they were on a mission, and then the DeMar Hamlin situation kind of happened, and then I don't know. Me watching them personally, it felt like they fall in love with, they want to pass the ball 50 times a game. I don't think they have to do that. So maybe them getting Dalvin Cook and placing him with his brother could be that could be a thing. But I don't know if Dalvin want to play in the cold though. I think that's a big factor too. But I think yeah, they've been to the playoffs, won a division and things like that, and basically their division. So at this point, it's just he just got to get over the hump and just get to the Super Bowl.
So he got to tame those demons, as in he finally got to get past Patty Mahomes and the Chiefs in the playoffs. You got to get through Joe Burrow and them in the playoffs. You potentially got to get through the Jets and Aaron Rodgers in the playoffs.
You got to worry about
the new look Baltimore Ravens team, that in a new offense with that. Justin Herbert, I don't know. I feel like, the Chargers, and him definitely has something to prove too. Like something got to give because Brandon Staley, I feel like almost lost his job the way they lost that game last year in the playoffs. So
the Chargers are almost like the Clippers to me. They got everything they need. They just every year they just find a way to just not do nothing.
I mean, there's a lot of similarity between the Chargers and the Clippers as we starting to think about it. Both of them if I'm not mistaken, both of them originated in San Diego. Both moved to LA. Both are like the redheaded stepchild in LA. It all makes sense. Both of them, come up short when it matters most. So, yeah, that's a great comparison. Great comparison. But the Chargers, if they play up to their peak, they can be a dangerous team. They can be.
Because the talent is there. They got it all. The talent is there.
And then you got Jacksonville, who I feel like is going to be a pretty darn good team this year because with Calvin Ridley coming back on top of what they did last year, the moves that they made already, and the progression of Trevor Lawrence, like, yeah,
Yeah.
that
Bar
team's gonna be.
nobody, bar nobody gets hurt. Yeah, they potentially. Let me see who's in the NFC South. They
The
potentially probably.
Texans,
Yeah.
nah. Titans, blah.
Yeah.
The Colts, I don't know.
Yeah. So they would be my AFC South pick, not unless not unless CJ Stroud just he just goes to another level, which I'm not saying it's not possible, but I don't think so. I think it'll be a little time before he gets there, but anything is possible these days. But I think that's the Jaguars division for sure. I think Trevor and them about to go to another level.
Yeah, they definitely should. They are the clear cut favorites in that division right now. To me, that's their division to lose. And then maybe somebody like Cleveland might sneak up because maybe Deshaun Watson, a year off last year was a rusty year. I mean, maybe he gets back in the form that we saw back in Houston. At that point, if that's the case, and what they did in the offseason, especially with them trading for Zadarius Smith, if I'm not mistaken, to go
Yeah,
alongside Myles Garrett,
yeah,
and you already got
yeah,
Denzel Ward back there. And then the offense, I mean, you still got Nick Chubb, who's a top 5 back in this league, pound for
yeah.
pound. Like,
Now,
that man's a monster.
easy. Yep.
Amari Cooper, I mean, and if they somehow pry away DeAndre Hopkins from anybody out there to go along with that, because he's publicly campaigning to get his boy back.
Yeah.
So,
That Cleveland, they've been throwing the money. They've been throwing the money out there. They just desperate. They desperate at this point. So it's possible. They got the talent too. It's possible.
So yeah, we definitely see that. And perfect segue to DeAndre Hopkins here. As you know, free agent finally released. He said your boy Kyler don't love the game. He loves Madden more or Call of Duty more than the actual game itself. Um, he took a visit to Tennessee, and more power to him for that one. But he's also about to take a visit to New England.
Yeah.
Where do you think is the best fit for DeAndre Hopkins?
The best fit. I can see why he took the visit to Tennessee. I mean, to be over there they'll have I don't know what the quarterback situation is going to be like, but to play with Derrick Henry, he'll be the true number one. It won't be any question. They got a couple other number 2 receivers. To be honest, it wouldn't be a bad look. The only thing is who's gonna throw him the ball. That would be the only thing. But I mean, he's pretty much dealt with that his whole career. So I mean, besides them getting Kyler Murray, but obviously they didn't have the best relationship. So New England, I don't know about New England. New England, he would be the clear cut number 1 there too. I feel like Bill will make that work, but I don't know which Mac Jones we're gonna get. We're gonna get Mac Jones from his rookie year at Alabama, or we're gonna get Mac Jones from last year. Or is Zappy gonna take his spot? So
right, we watched Mac Jones get benched in the mid game for Zappy against our Bears. We watched
that. So that would, as personally for him, that would be a good look, him being a clear cut number 1. Now, if you go to Cleveland, he'll be with the 1.5 maybe. But
that's a good question. Amari or D Hop?
D Hop, yeah. He states he wants to be, he wants to play with a winner, or he just wants to win. Now, the place I think he'll probably get to is Kansas City. I don't think nobody wants that.
That's scary.
I don't think nobody wants to see that.
Because
Even
you
in
think
Buffalo. If Buffalo just find I don't know if it's possible. But just hypothetically speaking, what if Buffalo just pulled off him and Dalvin Cook?
then at that point, there's no excuse. There is none.
None. None at all.
None.
But to be honest, if Buffalo was, then Buffalo had to let somebody go. Like per se, Gabe Davis. This probably would be his last year there. And I think Gabe Davis has really come along as a true number two, like true number two.
So, all right. So the Gabe Davis for me. So from a football standpoint, maybe he can be a consistent number two. From a fantasy standpoint, man, get that man off my team right now because he definitely didn't live up to what he should have been because it was too much hype last year on this man and that. No, man, some games yes, and then he'll disappear, and then it's too inconsistent for me. But Gabe Davis as a number 3 option on any team
yeah.
It'd be crazy. So, yeah, hypothetically, if they had Josh Allen under center, you have both Cooks in the backfield. You have Stephon Diggs to your left, DeAndre Hop on your right or in the slot, mixed match with Gabe Davis.
And Dawson Knox at tight end.
Yep, and you drafted another tight end to go along with that.
Right.
You got the defense. You got Von Miller coming back. You just signed Leonard Floyd, who both of them won a Super Bowl with the Rams, so they know how to play together. You still got your Davius White back there. Micah Hyde coming back. Like, bro, you have – I understand that you lost Tremaine Edmonds, but, yes, you are loaded. You have no excuse.
That's a super team, as they would call it.
Yeah. And that means it falls on Josh Allen.
Yep, for sure. Yeah, I mean, those are the top 2 scenarios I thought when he first got released. I was like, well, Buffalo, and I said waiting in the wing would be Kansas City. I said, man, I don't think nobody wants him to go to Kansas City with him and Travis Kelce on the field. Then the third receiver would be Valdez-Scantling taking off the top of the defense. Oh man,
So yeah, you got.
I think they'll repeat.
They'd be a strong candidate because when they won the Super Bowl the first time, I want to say Sammy Watkins was their quote unquote number 1 wide receiver, but they're not the number 1 option on the team, but number 1 wide receiver. So you replace that with DeAndre Hopkins. Juju, he went to New England, but you still got Valdez-Scantling, you still got Sky Moore, you still got I'm missing somebody here, and you got Isaiah Pacheco in the backfield.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if Jared McKinnon is there or not. I don't know if they re-signed him or whatnot. But anyway, and of course you got Patrick Mahomes.
And Mr. Kelce. So that I don't think nobody want to see. Those are probably the only 2 scenarios I would see for D-Hop.
Yeah. Yeah, if he wants to, if he wants a quarterback that loves the game and wants to be in a winning organization with a good defense, then yeah, those make sense. Even the Kansas City defense is not bad, even though they lost, was it Clark?
Frank Clark. Yeah.
And he's signed with the Broncos here.
Yep.
And that's another team to look out for too. But yeah, those 2 teams make the most sense to me. So oh man. But yeah, you got anything else for the NFL?
NFL, no, that's about it. Just bear down.
Man, I can't wait. I can't wait. So OTAs happening here, training camp next month, preseason starting in August, and then we kick off the season at home against Green Bay week 1. I cannot wait for that.
Yep.
Not wait. So I guess in other news before we get out of here, since you're wearing a Sox hat, they've been hot as of late. So they're 3 last time I checked, they're 3.5 back in the division, and probably the sorriest division we've ever seen in a very long time. in a
Yeah.
very long time. Yeah, the Twins are 500. 2 days ago, they were winning division under 500. So, um, but yeah, man. Any thoughts with the Sox being so hot? They have won 7 out their last 10 so far.
Yep. Just keep it up. Stay healthy. It's a marathon. It's a long way. So we just got to stay healthy and just keep it up, man. I think this Sox team has been on the brink of, doing something special for the last couple of years, and we've been kind of missing our window. So hopefully, this the year we kind of keep it going.
I hope so, because I feel like this team is at the crossroads at this point now.
Yeah.
Due to all the underachieving since COVID, since that year, and making the playoffs but getting put out in the first round, and then last year's debacle. My gosh, that was a debacle.
With your boy,
man, and and I thought it was the drunk, and it wasn't the drunk. I mean, he played a part. He did
he played a big part.
some legendary dumb boneheaded decisions, but it's not all him.
Yeah,
it's these players. These players got to play. Players got to play at the end of the day. You got to come out there and perform. So, Tim Anderson, he hasn't hit a home run all year.
yeah.
That's crazy. That's crazy to me. When, a couple of years ago, I remember him with the walk-off home run in the the Field of Dreams game
Yep.
against the Yankees. That was one of the most epic things I've ever watched in my life. So yeah, some got to give. Liam Hendricks back. That's been a bonus. We believe took 2 out of 3 from the Yankees. I take that. We've been winning multiple series in a row here, climbing the charts. Like you said, it's a marathon, though. You got to continue to kind of stay with it, be healthy. These players got to play for each other, instead of playing for themselves. Division's definitely winnable, even though we are 7 games under 500. Yikes. But 3.5 back. Plenty of division games to go.
Yep.
But yeah, man. I guess that's gonna wrap it up. Unless there's anything else you want to dive into, man.
No, I know the Sky took a loss last night, but I think it was last week they had a big win against New York, against the New York Liberty. That was pretty just all the Chicago teams, man. Just got to keep it up. I don't know what's gonna happen with my Bulls. We just I don't know what we doing.
Man, so
we like in this real gray area. I just don't know what's going on.
This is a discussion I don't know if we have time for today, but it pertains to that. Because if you think about it, there's one common denominator between the Bulls and the White Sox. And you can put the White Sox in the same boat as the Bulls, gray area, right?
Yeah, for sure.
It's the owner, Jerry Reinsdorf. He owns both teams. I feel like that man has to go. Just like how we felt about the McCaskies for the Bears.
That's how I feel about Jerry Jones too. Yep, gotta go.
It's like, are you trying to make money or are you trying to win? I mean, there's a way you could do both, but are you more so concerned with your bottom line instead of winning? Like, what are we doing?
Money. And I think before we go, I think the big issue with all 3 of those, even including the Cowboys, I don't even like the Cowboys, but I think the biggest issue is those 3 teams have this fan base that they know that they're not going to lose, even with the Bears as well. So it's like, let's make the money first, and then we'll think about the team. I think it's always that. But hopefully, at least with the Bears, it looks like we might be kind of with Mr. Poles. Hopefully, we might be turning that corner. So, but those other 2, the Bulls and the White Sox, especially those Bulls, I don't know what we're doing. We don't never be in a market, get a new coach, or I don't know. They don't even bring the Bulls up.
I know, man. Well, yeah, at least the Bears, when they hired the GM and when they actually drafted Fields, I was shocked because,
Man,
based on our history, that I thought they were going to trade up for Mac Jones. I ain't think they were going to take Justin Fields.
I did too. I did too. I promise to you. I tell everybody, I said, man, we drafted Justin Fields, man, I almost cried, y'all. I said, y'all don't even understand.
Bro.
I still look at his jersey in my closet and be like, wow, we really got Justin Fields. Every time I see him on TV, on my phone, I be like, we really got Justin Fields, bro.
Like, for real. Dude, like, my wife didn't understand the magnitude of what happened that night. And I was trying to explain it to her. But yeah, when we drafted him and when they actually hired Ryan Poles and actually gave that man control to hire his own coach and without anybody stepping in, I'm like, okay. And then when Ted Phillips went away and we got Kevin Warren, I'm like, okay, it's like y'all really trying to change the culture here.
Okay. Yeah.
So it's like it gives us hope, optimism, excitement, all the above. So I'm good there. Like my relationship with the Bears, we're good. Now, these Bulls, the insult to injury, is like Lonzo Ball in that whole situation. Like he might not play ever again because he got the same issue that Jason Richardson had and Festus Ezeli had, and they never came back. I'm like, bro. And as much as modern technology and medicine is, they still can't figure that one out.
Oh, quick question before we go.
Yeah.
Would you be opposed to the Bulls getting Chris Paul?
No. We need a floor general.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, that's what Lonzo was supposed to be. And Lonzo was that. Yeah. When we had him. Our team was so much different. We played better. We played both ends of the court better.
Yeah, we ran. It was, It was
now
defense was better. Yeah, for sure.
Now, I mean, we understand that when we sign Chris Paul, we get a cone on defense, but nevertheless, he will, organize the offense here.
That means we definitely wouldn't bring back Patrick Beverly. he definitely won't be coming back.
I mean, but if Patrick Beverly and Westbrook could be on the same team at once upon a time, why not him and Chris?
Yeah. I think, to be honest, they probably would get along for sure. They talk about it, hash it out. I think they would get along.
Man, but
that's just competitors,
Well, yeah, man, our Bulls stuck in purgatory though.
Yep.
And for us not having that draft pick this year because it was part of
that hurt too. Oh, that hurt too. So,
dude. Yeah, man. Yeah, you got me depressed on a Saturday morning. Thanks. But yeah. All right. So in closing, do you have any final thoughts or shout outs for today going into this weekend and next week?
I'll just enjoy this good weather. The weather's been really good this week. Not too hot, not too cool. It hasn't been no rain like for the last, 10 or 12 days. I don't know. It's been killing my grass actually, but I've been trying to water it every day or every other day. But no, just just enjoy this nice weather. Be safe. Enjoy time with the kids, with the family. And we might have a new NBA champion Monday. A first time NBA champion, I should say.
Yeah, that would be dope if we did, and I'm pretty sure that's probably what's happening here. But yeah, man, definitely enjoy this beautiful weather. Definitely be safe out here. And yeah, definitely enjoy the last bit of NBA basketball that we got here because we about to hit the dog days of summer.
Yep.
But yeah, nevertheless, for my bro Ian, for Brandon who couldn't be with us today, thank you all for joining us this morning on the Early Morning Sports Talk podcast. You can catch this podcast on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, where you get your podcast from. Catch it on YouTube. Obviously, we're here on Facebook, but please like, share, support. We appreciate each and every one of you all that comes in each and every week or whenever you get a chance. So until next time, deuces, much love, and peace.